Hello and welcome to your Mohawk Valley Winter Weather Outlook. I'm your host, meteorologist Jeff Matthews. I try to give you a forecast of what you can expect, at least trend-wise, each upcoming winter. Above average, below average temperatures, above, below average snowfall, that kind of thing. Whether the season starts early or late, ends early or late. A lot of things to look at when you make these kind of forecasts. The Northern Atlantic Oscillation, La Nina, which we have a weak La Nina going on right now. That trends us towards a milder, less snowy winter, and other things as well. But the overall picture, the big picture view down, shows me that there's a lot of noise in the atmosphere. There's a lot of little things going on. Think of it like the beginning of a rugby match when you see the ball in the middle and there's 12 guys surrounding it and you can't quite figure out which way the mass of manhood is moving and who's going to wind up coming out with the ball. There's a lot of things going on in the polar regions right now. It's not necessarily typical, and that means it's going to be very difficult for one coordinated effort for cold air to funnel out of Canada and keep on coming week after week after week, like a polar vortex. So, because of that, I can feel relatively safely assured that it's going to be a relatively late start to winter, it's going to be mostly lake effect, and we're not going to get anywhere near average snowfall totals for the Mohawk Valley, which means every year, since we see less and less snow the last 5 years, the average snowfall is coming down as well, because you have to throw these years into the average for next year. So winter starts late. It's focused with briefly intense cold spells. Briefly intense. Most snow is likely to come from lake effect and well below average snowfall overall. This is the National Weather Service's picture, what they think will happen from December through February temperature-wise, and they foresee us as seeing equal chances of a below or above average temperature for those 3 months. I actually have us relatively mild, and the severe cold over the high plains states very warm conditions this winter for the Deep South. Precipitation-wise, they have us basically in equal chances of a below or above average precipitation for the 3 winter months. But western New York, they have a slight chance for being slightly wetter than average. Me, by comparison, I actually see us being close to average, and I also see it being wetter over the Great Lakes states and extreme western New York as well. So, I see us being a little warmer and close to average, near the storm track, which also means if you're very close to the storm track, you're not likely to get the big heavy snows. You really want to be just to the north of the big storm track. So let's get a little more specific. I've placed for you how much total winter snow I expect. Here's New York State. For the North Country, 90 to 110. Now that's not a lot. Their typical winter would be 130, 40, 50 inches of snow, maybe even 170 inches of snow. So that's not close to average. That's probably about 70% of average. For the Mohawk Valley, from Syracuse to Little Falls, now again, it's going to have a range, because if you're closer to the lake, you'll see more. But basically between 50 or 60 inches of snow. Keep in mind, we average about 94, 95 inches of snow. So once again, it'll be a late start to winter, intense but brief cold spells. The snowfall will come in well below average, some 60% of average, and will probably wind up, as usual, with a late spring. That is your winter weather outlook for the Mohawk Valley. You can check this out anytime you'd like throughout the winter and see how it's going, and I'll update you as we go through the winter as well.